June 3rd, US President Donald Trump gave an interview on the Brian Kilmeade Show on Fox News Radio. He had this to say about COVID-19.
Why is it Wuhan? It came out of Wuhan. Why is it that it didn't go to China, but it went to the rest of the world? It went to Europe, it went to the world, it went to the United States. Came out of it, but it didn't go to Beijing. It didn't go to other parts of China. What's that all about? So how come they let it go out to the world, but they didn't let it go into China? That's a little strange deal going on there.
It is certainly strange if his standard of comparison is the US's response to the pandemic. The World Health Organization declared the novel coronavirus a public health emergency of international concern on January 30th. But even in March, Trump was still talking about his hunch regarding the pandemic's mortality rate. Now the US tops the world in coronavirus impact, with more than 2 million confirmed cases and over 110,000 deaths. Like many countries that have successfully managed COVID-19's impact, China doesn't rely on hunch. A week before the WHO made the declaration, China put the then epicenter city of Wuhan on lockdown. Travel restrictions were soon implemented in towns, cities and provinces across China. Dr. Bruce Aylward, co-head of the China WHO Joint Mission, said during his visit to China in February that the world is in Wuhan people's debt.
To the people of Wuhan, it is recognized the world's in your debt.
It's no exaggeration. The 76-day citywide quarantine shut off the city's traffic to the outside. For some people, it even meant not being able to step foot outside their homes. The city ground to a halt. Social lives became non-existent. Businesses were shut. Were people and the government afraid of the consequences? Sure. Does anyone regret such measures? Hardly anyone. On January 27th, Chinese President Xi Jinping made clear that people's interests are the highest priority. The instruction is echoed and carried out by the government, society, and each individual.
中国的经济是停摆的，我可以这么说，但付出的代价是非常大。但是为什么呢？就这条，人的生命跟平安是第一，健康跟生命是第一位。我觉得我们是做到了。把这个放在第一位，所以其他的付出了很多啊，我们的经济上损失很大，但是这个换来了很多老百姓的平安，我觉得这个方向是对的。
China mobilized its governmental, societal, and even individual resources to combat the virus. Huashen Hospital was constructed in 10 days. Together with Leishan Hospital, which took 2 weeks from breaking ground to build, the two hospitals added 2,600 beds to specifically treat COVID-19 patients. More than 42,000 medical workers were called upon from all corners of the country and dispatched to Wuhan in more than 330 teams. Rigorous testing and tracing became the norm. Community workers were mobilized to check temperatures and monitor traffic moving in and out of residential compounds. Digital technology allowed for the usage of big data to trace people's travel history. Restaurants, shopping malls, and even open playgrounds required proof of clean travel history before granting entrance. On June 2nd, Wuhan conducted a new round of testing. 9 million people were tested. 0 cases were found. And even as the country gradually resumes business, people still voluntarily don face masks and maintain few outings. China isn't alone in this. New Zealand, one of the countries that has most successfully minimized COVID-19's impact, took swift lockdown measures too. John Samuels, a resident in Wellington, said in an interview that the shutdown was an enormous demand from people in New Zealand, given their habitual outdoor exercise and travel. The New Zealand government asked, people complied, and the virus was managed. In Serbia, the government also imposed strict quarantine measures. Curfews were declared, and even dog walking was limited to close to home and no more than 20 minutes. Only less than 300 deaths have been reported in the country, with nearly 12,000 confirmed cases. In the US, however, Trump has never given up chanting, "Reopen the economy." In early May, the US CDC issued warnings that the spread of COVID-19 was still accelerating in the US. Trump's focus, however, has clearly moved past this.
I created, with a lot of other very talented people and the people of our country, the greatest economy in the history of the world. Well, now it's time to open it up.
China's policy for dealing with coronavirus is very clear. You have to get the number of domestic transmissions down to zero, or as close to zero as you can get. I mean, China's averaging less than 10 domestic cases per day. That means you can control that, because you can trace everybody who's got it right. But the US attempted to open up its economy when there are thousands of cases a day. And we know what happens. The coronavirus spreads exponentially.
Trump's priority has never been only about saving his citizens' lives. For him, adopting tough restrictions is a trade-off with the economy.
The way I'm hearing advisors and strategists talk about this, they know the economy is going to be really bad going into the election. Their hope is that they can see some upward trend so that the second quarter numbers are just catastrophic, but the third quarter looks a little bit better. And they can spin this as the great American comeback story, as the president turning things around.
When he finds out that he can't get both, he starts to question China's measures. The insinuation that China infected the world extends from his mindset that, because I can't do it well, you certainly can't surpass me without cheats or frauds. He forgets that strict quarantine measures prevent the virus's spread by cutting off all ways of transmission. The US might have looked different if it took a similar approach, but for whatever reason, it failed to act at the prompt time. There's no conspiracy to insinuate. The truth is simply about priority. When pandemic hits, some leaders put people above all else. But does Trump? What is Trump's priority? He knows. And we know too.